Hi everyone, I'm Siddhant, a developer relations engineer at Harness, and in this video I'll be walking you through a really nice feature from Pipeline which is called Configurable Retry post-failure. This feature actually gives you granular control over the automatic retry mechanism in Harness. Instead of a simple retry, you can now define a condition which must evaluate to true in order for the retry event to begin. You can also define the interval between these retries, you can also define the number of retries that should happen, and all of it once the condition is met or the condition is evaluated to true. Well, let's see what I have here. You can see I have created a pipeline and it's called Configurable Retry post failure, and over here I have a stage. Now this stage has two steps. So let's see the first step, which is shell script step 1. I click here, I have a shell script step here, and then I go to advanced, failure strategy, and you can see that my failure strategy is actually to perform a retry step action. Now this retry step action must happen 3 times, which is specified over here as the retry count 3, at an interval of 2 seconds, which is specified over here. And in the end, you can also see that I have a retry condition specified right here. Well, we can see the same in the YAML. So if I see the pipeline YAML here, you'll be able to see that we have actually specified the same condition over here on retry failure, and the condition is that the shell script step 1, the identifier of the shell script step 1, must evaluate to shell script _1, which is actually the identifier which is currently present there for the shell script step 1, which means that this condition will evaluate to true and we'll be able to see that the retry will take place. So let's just go back to the pipeline and click on run, and let's run the pipeline. And once you run the pipeline, we can see that the pipeline started successfully and the shell script step 1 is being run. However, it actually failed, and as you can see, now the second retry is happening. It failed again, and the third retry is happening because the condition was identified as true, it evaluated to true, and as you can see, it went up to 4 retries since we specified 3 as the count. And I think anytime now the pipeline will complete executing. Now let's see what happens when we change this condition or modify this condition a little bit. So I'll go back to the pipeline and let's try to edit the pipeline. I'll go to YAML and I'll change the condition. I'll slightly change the condition. So I'll just write here shell script 2 and click on save, and basically now the condition must evaluate to false, due to which the pipeline should now not retry the first step again and again. So I'll click on run. Alright, and let's see what happens. So the pipeline started execution, and now we can see that the step failed again, but this time there was no retry that took place. Why? Because the condition did not evaluate to true and it was false, and the pipeline continued to move as it should have. Hence, you can use this condition to actually specify different use cases. Based on your use case, maybe it could be an exit code, it could be an output variable from a step, or anything for that matter. Depending upon your use case, you can always specify different conditions and have more control over the retry mechanism. It does not only allow you to have a smarter way of retrying the steps, but it also gives you more control over the retry mechanism. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.